What would you say if I tell you that you can choose your reality? Yes, indeed. And doesn't matter if you live in a war zone right now, or if you live in a place where there's a poverty, or if you literally live at a place where it's hell on earth. And there are unfortunately many places on our planet right now experiencing hell-like condition. But believe it or not, you better believe it, you can choose and change your reality. Imagine for a second if whatever you put your eye, whatever you look at, it's basically nothing else but your impression of this reality. Imagine when you're looking at a butterfly that you only can see that butterfly. Imagine when you're looking at the beauty of the sky, or the beauty of an ocean, or the beauty of a sand, or anything you lay your eye on. Imagine it's just nothing else but your impression of a reality. And also imagine if the moment you take your eye away from that object, it's actually disappeared, just like in a video game. If you move from one screen to another, the previous screen disappears and it only appears back when you pay attention. So as a quantum physics tell us that the observer, which is the reality, and the reality changes upon the observer attention and intention. So the moment we experiencing the reality or experiencing the experience, that reality start to blossom or become real or become a reality. I know I'm trying to use the easiest language. So now for a moment, hold on your thought. And imagine if you, even in the most crazy place right now where there is a war zone, maybe you're in Iran, maybe you're in Ukraine, maybe you're in, other places where there is no peace and the sky is not quiet, and you wake up and you pray to God or whatever you believe to stay alive. Imagine if you're gonna change your perspective or your attention. There is a belief that when we change our frequency, when we stop focusing on something, the reality starts to shift. For example, when you focus on a disease, that disease will blossom with sickness, right? The reason the social media and news and all that stuff trying to gain your attention on something, would it be celebrity, would it be war, would it be a new pandemic, it's your attention equal to a gold, equal to infinite amount of energy. So the more people put attention on their certain event, such as a war, disasters, revolution, change of government, story about celebrity, whatever, that situation start to grow. So the more we put in attention on something of a negative matter, for example, such as a war, that matter start to grow, because our attention means energy. Okay, there is nothing happen in this universe or multiverses without our attention or without our energy. Anything means energy. We are energy beings. Okay, we are made of energy, made of light, made of certain frequency. So the moment you will resonate on a higher frequency, believe it or not, even if you are in the most disastrous place right now, even if you are in a war zone, if you are a soldier or if you are a civilian, and you're trying to hide, you're trying to survive, you're trying to hide your family, your children, your, I don't know, pets, your family members, your elders. You have to imagine, you have to believe, actually, not just imagine, that all this, it's a different reality that somebody is trying you to believe. And I know it's hard to say, especially when people in the war zone see victims, see people that are dying or injured or whatever. It's hard to believe that this is not real. But believe it or not, anything and everything we experience, it's nothing else but energy, nothing else but a construct of our imagination and a construct of this matrix. So the moment we shift our attention to positive, literally forcing ourselves, and sometimes we have to force ourselves. So the media, the propaganda works the way that the more they gain attention from people, from masses, from everyone, the more they gain that energy field. And energy field equals to power. Okay? Nothing works better than media, social media, or something that you see through the video and it expands, bloggers sharing it, like right now what's happening in Iran, or what's happening in Israel, or what's happening in Ukraine, or what's happening in other countries where they have some sort of turmoil, political or otherwise. So the moment you start to repost, the moment you start to share it, the moment we as a collective consciousness start to put attention, the more it grows and becomes bigger. It literally expands. It's a law of physics, nothing else. You might think it's some kind of story I'm telling you, but if you go back to the physics, and again, I'm not a scientist, neither I'm a physicist, but I do have all the rights to say about that, to have a word about that. As practicing esoteric, it's exactly the same thing. Esoteric is nothing else but following certain rules and laws of universe, right? That's how we manifest things. The more we put intention and attention to something, either it's good or bad, it expands, dramatically expands in all directions. So remember one thing: if you keep in mind something negative, if you keep talking about politics, wars, disaster, and if you keep sharing it, reposting it, talking about that, you contribute to expand and to increasingly grow that matter. I'm not saying it to neglect it, to forget it, or pretend that it's going to disappear. No, but we have to share more love, more unity, and togetherness among the nations, among the different religions, and try to see beyond religions, beyond social status, beyond countries, beyond borders, and try to see the light inside everyone and anyone. Even if you think like right now it's such a big deal to talk about who is real, who is not, who is bots, and who is half human, who is subhuman, etc., etc. However, if we try to see more light, try to find light and positivity in every day of our life, we will expand that. So rather than, to me, what my law or rule of life, if I cannot change it, why would I talk about that? Yes, I'm aware of that, absolutely. Now, will I change or will I help if I'm going to repost and talk about that? No. How can I help? Well, if I can help with my resources, I will. If I cannot help, what is the reason I will be constantly talking about that? I will just going to expand that matter. So keep that in mind, sharing it.